like I said, I don't think that staff is looking, and the city would be looking to do anything that would prevent the sale. What the staff is suggesting is that we have a deadline to get work done, think of it as something to help push this along in order to take care of the issue. And if, this may open discussion as they're doing due diligence, which is part of it, for them to for the potential purchaser to contact city staff and work through these issues. I can't tell you where that's gonna go, but staff would be open for those discussions, because it would possibly alleviate the issues that are there. So, again, you can leave it up to staff to make that determination, bring it back if we feel that it's necessary, or it can come back again once we hit that 60-day period and decisions can be made.
Which looks like has been recommended in our action for tonight with 2 separate motions. Is that correct? Or am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, well, the two separate motions. One is adoption of the resolution. That's your findings, hazardous building, here's what needs to get done to the property. The order itself, that is what would be served. All you're doing there is authorizing the mayor and the city administrator to execute that document, approving it and authorizing to execute it. That is the document that would be served by us onto the property owners, which includes any lien holders. And then there's a 20-day period for them to file an answer. And the 60-day period wouldn't start until we actually serve it.
Serve that, right?
Right.
Okay.
So it's not 60 days from today, it's 60 days
Right.
from when we go through the process. And what you're doing in here, if you take a look at the resolution, I think in the last, before the signature page, you are authorizing me to serve the order upon all the owners and authorizing me to proceed with enforcement of the order. So you're giving me, at this point, some of that discretion with regards to how we're going to handle this. But if I know that we know there's outside issues going on, going to court may not make sense if we hit the end of that 60-day period. We could keep that deadline and just say, well, we're not gonna file it yet, let's wait and see where we go.
And that's where I feel like we have that flexibility with the purchase agreement and stuff would be in that part.
Correct.
Right there.
Correct.
So it's not as firm
Sure.
as it sounds.
Yeah. With regard to that, I will say the word was may in the statute, and it doesn't work with absolutes, but there are deadlines.
Right. Okay.
Mayor, with that, I would move that we pass Resolution 2021-18, a resolution ordering the repair and removal of hazardous conditions located at 5220 Main Street in Maple Plain, with the modifications that Scott indicated at the beginning about the and versus to, and any other clerical errors that were made.
Yeah, I know, so I'll take care of that.
Okay.
If I may, Mayor, I'll take care of those issues. I'll modify the Barb to Barbara and make sure everything is, those parts are taken care of.
Okay. So we have a motion by Councilmember DeLuca, looking for a second.
I will offer a second.
Second by Councilmember Fay. This is a resolution, so it will be roll call vote.
Fay,
Aye.
DeLuca,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Moskowski,
Aye.
DeLong.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it, 5-0. Next, I'm looking for a motion authorizing the mayor and the city administrator to execute the order to repair, remove, or raise hazardous property.
So moved.
Moved by Cahill,
I'll second.
second by DeLong. And this is a regular motion, so all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. All right.
Okay.
Do you need anything else, Attorney Landsman?
No,
Yet?
I am good, thank you very much.
All right.
Mayor, members of the council. As always, I will, city administrator, and as the process moves forward, we'll keep you updated.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next item of business this evening is the 2022 proposed levy.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Before you is a resolution formulated after our numerous discussions regarding the 2022 budget. We obviously still have a lot of work to do on the budget processes themselves. And as you are aware, the proposed levy sets a ceiling for the levy. We cannot go over this levy. We can, however, modify the final levy to be less than the proposed levy. So the proposed levy represents, oh, I better find my numbers here, represents an increase of $111,030. That is just over a 7.5% increase for the year. However, there has been very minor increases and even a decrease within the last few years. So the 5-year average is still just 1.25%. I'm happy to answer any questions, but it seems like we've lost our viewers here, so it's up to you how much you want to discuss this evening.
Questions for our administrator?
Not a question, I just want to make more of a comment, and that is, I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with Council Member DeLuca working on the city budget. I've been fortunate to be on the Fire Commission working through the Fire Commission budget. The one thing I have not been involved in, of course, is the police budget, that third leg. And there are hard costs associated with all three people's budgets: workman's compensation, insurances that we can't control. And there are a lot of soft costs that I think we've got a couple of months to try to massage and work around the edges to see if we can't winnow both of those down. And I just want to confirm, we established this, we cannot exceed it. We can go less than, but do we have to let the city, the fire department, and the police department know what their component of the budget is, or do we just say, here's how much money you got to spend, work with it?
No, we don't need those final numbers tonight.
No,
Right.
I'm getting past tonight.
Right.
I'm working towards the next 2 months, and
So here's my kind of thought on the next few months. So we need to, again, we kind of review those utility budgets. They're not going to change too much from year to year. I still don't have those aren't budgets that I've like really wrapped my head around, as far as the details and various expenditures. So, we're going to essentially kind of look at history and try and, get the best fit we can for those. The police and fire budgets, what's the next fire commission meeting? Not until November, unless we do a special. So we know that Independence is pretty much on board with budgets as is. Fire department budget is really going to be kind of where we probably focus a little bit more of our massaging, because that's the one that we have the most control over. I think that we can probably address that within the next workshop or so and get that to a point where we're comfortable. Now that I say that, I'm thinking of when our workshops are, and we have one middle of October. So probably that middle of October, I'd like to finalize those numbers for the fire department budget, and then plan to recommend approval of those budgets at the October regular meeting if you guys are on board with that, everybody's getting a little antsy for those budgets. So, and then we have November. So theoretically, we could essentially take what those decisions we've made in October and feed those into our final review of the city budgets in November. Did I say that right? October and then November? And then kind of put the finishing touches on things for our truth and taxation hearing, final levy, final budget approvals.
Well, I'm willing to support the 7.5% increase. I'm not happy with it. As long as we can massage around the edges to get that down into something that is, I don't know what appropriate is at this point. But we talked about the other three-legged stool is the school district and the county. And the county just passed a 3.5% increase. And Jeff Lundy, the old mayor of Brooklyn Center, said it best. They were pushing for 5. And he said, I'll work at 3.5 because who knows what's gonna happen with the schools and the cities. And we're part of that city. And so, if it requires special meetings and special sessions and whatever, let's do it, because I will support this tonight, but I will not support it in December.
I think we can all pencil in Monday nights then. Yep, that's definitely understood. I also, within that budget process, we still need to address the CIP and go over that. And I think that those CIP issues are very enlightening, especially on the PD budget. So I was able to dig into their budget and go through their CIP, and they don't have a lot of stuff really. I mean, there's all of 30 things max on their CIP, though they replace things more often, vehicles and cameras and such. And so, as soon as we then start, so we're looking at their CIP, which, based on my assessment, or review of that, has been underfunded for years, to the tune of, it's funded at roughly 25, maybe 33% of what it should be. And you guys have been doing a great job of doing set aside for capital, on the city side, but we all know that, the fine tunings of kind of where that money went or what it was for, whether it was supposed to be paying down some of these reconstruction projects, that was, maybe we didn't have the full picture there. So it feels like a lot of money, but we don't know what it should be. So it's still a little gray area we need to color in here in our big picture assessment. So I definitely want to, speaking of big picture assessment, still trying to get back to some of this, long-term planning. That CIP is a big part of that, and we'll try and give you kind of a longer-term view of budgets and levies, if I can, by November or so.
Thank
I have
you.
a comment I'd like to make.
Yes.
I too have had the opportunity over my 8 or 9 years to have served on the police commission. I've had an opportunity to serve on the fire commission, and obviously helped a number of budgets through the years. So the comment I'm about to make is not meant in any way to say that I'm not supportive of police, fire, or the government that we do. We are blessed with a very world-class police and fire, and I think services that we're providing. We have provided new roads, we've provided new water, we've provided new services as a whole. And I appreciate the hard work that staff has done to define what the current state of running government is. Clarissa, you and your staff have done a nice job of laying out exactly what it is and translating that into a budget. However, I am not supportive of an increase in the levy that is at this level. I believe Chief Kroll's, Chief McCoy, and you are capable of finding additional savings in the budgets. But I recognize it's not gonna be just change something that exists. It's gonna be hard work to redesign. That's the key word, redesign the way we're doing government. It's easy to just ask our citizens, give us more tax money, give us more tax money, to carry on the way that we've been doing government for decades in this city. I believe that these three leaders and us as council members are capable of redesigning these departments in a way that will not compromise the quality and will not compromise the service that we provided to our residents and our businesses. We have strong leaders who believe that they can creatively plan on new ways of providing that world-class service that we've come to expect. I challenge them and this council to redesign the work processes and in turn reduce the amount of taxes from the current levy that is being discussed tonight as we set the final levy in a couple of months. Guys, we owe that to our taxpayers, and I'm committed to doing that.
I'm on board.
Any other comments, questions?
I'll hold my comments for the final vote.
And I, as well, I am comfortable with this because we still have time. Administrator Hadler's been here 7 months and has spent a great deal of time on this and getting things up to date. And I feel like for the first time in my 6+ years as an elected official, I truly have a better understanding of where we are financially. So I'm looking forward to the next couple months to see what we can reduce, but knowing that it is going to be a larger increase than I traditionally would like to see. So, all right, with that, I'm looking for a motion to approve Resolution 2123, a resolution setting the proposed 2022 levy and setting the truth and taxation hearing date for December 13th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at Maple Plains City Hall.
So moved.
Moved by DeLong,
Second.
second by Cahill. Any further discussion? And it is another resolution vote tonight.
DeLuca,
No.
Moskowski,
Aye.
DeLong,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Fay.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it 4-1. Next item of business is council reports and other business. And I will start to my left with Councilmember Cahill.
Well, I know it's late, but I actually just want to take a minute to speak on an issue that happened earlier this month and still does not sit well with me. So I don't offer this as a debate, so I didn't add it to the agenda because it's done. So, but I just want to go on record about it. So, we were fortunate to have many talented student artists decorate the warming house in Rainbow Park with a collection of murals. Some of the students deviated quite a bit from the approved artwork, including a rainbow flag with the words "Love is Love." I recognize that having only the gay pride flag in the absence of others is not inclusive of the beautiful diversity of our community. However, I feel simply removing it in the name of neutrality instead of reflecting how we could be more inclusive was the wrong approach, especially given that our annual Santa event is far from neutral. So I just wanted to be clear, especially for our students who painted it, that there is unequivocally nothing wrong with a gay pride flag, because there is nothing wrong with being gay. And specifically from a governing standpoint, which is why we are all here, the Supreme Court of the United States has reaffirmed several times a person's rights to equality and freedom from discrimination regardless of one's sexual orientation. It is not our job to be neutral on human rights. It is our job to protect them and to support marginalized communities. So indeed, love is love, and I think that it's wonderful that our student artists recognize and love one another for who they are. So thank you for indulging me. I just had to go on record because it's been bothering me ever since. So that is my report.
Well, thank you for having the courage and the strength to speak your mind and to do it openly.
Thank you.
Councilmember Fay.
I get to follow that.
I know, sorry, I gave no warning to the mayor.
I didn't know.
Can I just say I have nothing to report?
Yes, you can.
No. We all took part in a couple of days of strategic planning. It's still a work in process. We've got a long ways to go, but I think we're on the right path. Attended Fire Commission meeting earlier this month. Kind of finalized a budget, but there's the one that I'm going to massage around the edges. Still attend Orono Rotary on Thursdays. I will not be at this Thursday's event. And then, of course, join you all with EDA, and I think downtown development is getting to be a very popular topic these days. So excited to serve on that commission as well.
Thank you. Councilmember DeLong.
I have nothing to report.
Councilmember DeLuca.
I just want to build on what John was saying. We did some fantastic strategic planning work earlier in the month, and for those of you that might be listening tonight, go look at some of the documents that are in our packet. You'll see that we're going in a good direction. I think it's a great work. Next step will be to have some steps taken to give staff direction, look at the resources that we need in order to accomplish that, which I think are important. Some fantastic work on the budget that we did. All of us should be proud that we're able to dig into that, do that respectfully. Even though we may disagree on a few things, we're able to talk through those processes. EDA, I am excited about the stuff that we've been doing with EDA. I think, John, you mentioned it earlier tonight in a workshop that, gosh, things are starting to move in this city. Something, until I see a shovel in the ground, I'm going to be a little leery, but it is, it's working in the right direction. Not just on downtown, but we've got Gateway out there. We've got the new community house, if I got the terminology right there. The new building that's going in across with the insurance agent. I mean, just a lot of good things starting to happen. Momentum builds on momentum, and I think that's good. It makes me feel good as a council member to be able to see things happening that we haven't seen, even in the era of COVID. It's fun to see that.
Thank you. It has been a busy month. I've attended a lot of meetings. I'm just going to highlight a few that have some big things going on. One of them was the Highway 12 Safety Coalition meeting, which I know many of you know that group advocated and worked really hard to get more safety improvements along Highway 12, and we were finally able to have a ribbon cutting and some happy news coverage out there. So we are grateful for that and for the partnerships with all the different entities that made that possible. The Fire Commission has been busy at work, and I just want to put in a plug for their open house, which is this Saturday, October 2nd from 11 to 4. So come on out and meet our local firefighters, tour the station, and I believe there will be food trucks there. So bring some money and you can enjoy a meal. And the West Hennepin Chamber of Commerce, just want to thank them for their work with promoting businesses and that Maple Plain is open, and ask that you'd mark your calendar for the Truck and Treat event on October 30th, which will be happening in our Gateway area. And if you are interested in decorating your truck or trunk, come on out from 11 to 3 and come in costume and you can truck and treat. So lots of good things going on in our little city. So let's continue to support one another and the people that are here in a respectful and inclusive way.
And by the way, that is the finest roundabout I have ever seen.
With that being said, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
DeLuca and DeLong, and the meeting is adjourned at 9:12.
Have a great video of Jerry.